Hello there, so in today's video you are going to learn exactly what you need to do in order to get tack sharp photos every time. So focus is such a key component of getting images that look and feel professional, which is why it is one of the key pillars in our Auto to Awesome framework. Now, in order to get sharp photos, there's actually a lot of different elements that you need to take into consideration. You are going to mix and match different focusing modes, different focusing techniques, different focusing strategies, and different camera settings that are going to change for each and every photo. So there's definitely not one size fits all when it comes to focus. Now, most new photographers don't actually do that, and they leave the camera to make all of these choices for them, which is when you end up with images that are soft and slightly out of focus. So without further ado, let's break down the 5 key components that go into getting a tack sharp image. So the first element is aperture. Now, new photographers, when they're first starting out, tend to try and shoot wide open all the time. In other words, using the lens maximum aperture. But the problem is that can be too wide for many situations, and that's why you'll end up getting key elements of your image out of focus. For example, having soft eyes in a portrait. Now, a short-term solution to this is to just shoot with a slightly smaller aperture, giving you a wider area in focus, and you get that little bit more wiggle room with your focus. Of course, the long-term solution is to actually learn depth of field and all the different factors that affect it. But when you do that, you'll be able to choose the perfect aperture each and every time. So the second element is shutter speed, and getting the right shutter speed is crucial for getting images that are sharp. Now again, this tends to affect new photographers more because they'll be shooting on auto or aperture priority mode, and the camera is choosing the shutter speed for them. And that means that it will often choose a shutter speed that is far too slow for what you're photographing. Again, the solution here is to take control and choose the shutter speed yourself. Now do remember that the absolute minimum for a person is around 1/125, and you're going to want to increase that number the more movement that your subject has. Again, there are a number of factors that go into choosing the correct shutter speed, but getting this right will mean that you'll see a great improvement in your sharpness. So next up is focusing modes, and you will have a number of focusing modes to choose from on your camera, and your job is to choose the correct one for what you're photographing. Now, if you use Canon, the one for moving subjects will be called Al Servo. That's going to be called AFC if you shoot Nikon, and I'd say that's the one you're going to use for moving subjects. For still subjects, change your focusing mode. So for Canon, that is going to be called one shot, and that is called AFS if you shoot Nikon. Again, making sure you have the right focusing mode is going to help you get sharper images. Now, the next one is your focusing technique. Now that could be focus recompose or manual focus select, where you choose your own focus point. Now for the most part, I recommend that you choose your own focus point, because that way you're telling the camera exactly what area of the scene that you want into focus, again, leading to sharper images. So when you are ready to get more advanced, then you're going to want to learn some focusing strategies too. So for example, the way that I set up my camera for focus is different if I was photographing a couple coming down the aisle towards me, which would be different again from a child jumping off a rock, say, and maybe different again from a child who's moving around erratically and I can't predict their movement. So again, you're going to use different strategies based on what your subject is doing. Now, when you learn all of these elements individually and then how to put them together, you are going to go from being frustrated and fumbling with your settings to confident and empowered, because you'll know exactly the right settings to use at the right time. So of course, focus is just one of the key pillars of getting a professional level photo. If you want to learn more, be sure to join me for my free masterclass. You'll find a link right about where you're watching this video, and I will see you in there.